The wind whipped the pink party dress against Genevieve Thorne Hawkins' legs. 30 stories below, London flickered its lights through the thick curtain of rain, indifferent, chaotic, too alive for a night she only wanted silence. The slippery concrete soaked her bare feet. Her Louboutin high heels lay abandoned 3 meters back, along with her Chanel bag and everything that represented the life she hadn't chosen. The storm clung the delicate fabric to her skin, but she barely felt the cold. 3 hours ago, she'd been in the Imperial Ballroom of the Savoy Hotel, surrounded by 300 guests at her engagement dinner with Piers Ainsworth Clarke, French champagne, caviar canapés, polite smiles masking calculating glances. Now, atop this unfinished skyscraper in Canary Wharf, all she wanted was to end the charade once and for all. What a joy to have you with me. Tell me where you're listening from. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's discover together how this incredible story unfolds. The sound of hurried footsteps on the wet concrete made her turn. A man emerged from the service stairwell, his blue work shirt completely soaked, dark hair plastered to his forehead, eyes wide with panic, and in his arms, wrapped in a faded red blanket, a baby. The scene was so absurd, so out of context, that Genevieve was paralyzed. "Please don't jump." His voice cut through the noise of the rain, hoarse, desperate, loaded with something she recognized immediately. True pain. Not the performative pain she saw in her family's drawing rooms, but the kind that leaves scars on the soul. "My wife died 8 months ago giving birth to this girl, Lily." His voice broke on the last syllable, and he held the child tight against his chest as if she might slip away at any moment. "I know what it's like to want it all to end. I swear I do. There are days I wake up and don't want to be alive, but please, please don't do this." Genevieve felt something stir within her. It wasn't pity. It was recognition. As if somehow that drenched stranger with a baby in his arms understood exactly where she was, not geographically but existentially. He took a step forward, careful as if she were a wounded bird about to take flight. "My name is Jamie Clarke. I work here in construction. I was doing overtime when I saw you go up. I grabbed Lily from the neighbors in a rush." He extended his free hand, calloused fingers, nails with cement dirt. "I'll catch you. No matter what's happening, I'll catch you." Something in those words, in their brutal simplicity, in the complete absence of judgment, made Genevieve's legs give way. She didn't jump. She simply collapsed, sobbing, and somehow Jamie reached her in time, holding her with one arm while keeping Lily safe with the other. The three of them stood there, atop that unfinished skyscraper, as the storm swallowed them and the city below remained indifferent. When she could breathe again, Genevieve realized she was sitting on the concrete floor, her back against the unfinished wall. Jamie was crouched beside her, Lily awake now, looking at her with curious, dark eyes. The baby wasn't crying. She just watched, as if understanding that something momentous had just occurred. "What's your name?" Jamie asked softly. Genevieve hesitated. Her face was in all the glossy magazines, on every news channel. The Thorne Hawkins heiress, from one of Britain's wealthiest families. If he knew who she truly was, everything would change. It always did. "Jen," she said, using the nickname her mother used before she died. "Just Jen." "Jen," he repeated, and there was something gentle in the way he said it. "Have you got anywhere to go?" The most basic, most human question. And the truest answer she'd given in years spilled out unfiltered. "No." Jamie looked at her, then at Lily, then back at her. Some decision formed in his eyes. "Come with me then. My flat's small, but there's a sofa. And if you could help with Lily while I'm at work, it'd be a godsend, to be honest." And so it was that Genevieve Thorne Hawkins, heiress to a $250 million empire, found herself in the passenger seat of an old Ford Fiesta, driving through empty streets in the dead of night towards Canning Town. Lily slept in her makeshift car seat in the back. The rain had stopped, leaving London washed clean and strangely quiet. Genevieve looked out the window and saw the city she'd never truly known. Not the London of Michelin-starred restaurants and penthouse suites, but the real city, of corner shops and terraced houses, of clothes drying on cramped balconies and dogs sleeping on pavements. Jamie's flat was on the 4th floor of a building without a lift. 2 tiny bedrooms, a combined living room and kitchen, a bathroom with a cracked shower screen. But it was clean. There were photos on the walls. A beautiful woman, wide smile, holding her pregnant belly. The same woman in the hospital, exhausted but radiant, newborn Lily in her arms. The last photo was of her in a coffin, surrounded by white flowers. Genevieve swallowed hard. "This is your spot for now," Jamie said, gesturing to the sofa. It wasn't luxurious, but it had a clean blanket and a pillow. "The loo's over there. There's bread and coffee for the morning. I'm out at 5 a.m., but I'll be back for lunch to give Lily her bottle. If you could stay with her until I'm back." He ran a hand through his damp hair, exhaustion in every movement. "It'd mean a lot." "I will," Jen said, and realized she meant it. "Thank you. For everything." Jamie nodded, but before heading to his room, he turned. "Jen, I don't know what took you to that rooftop, and you don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but I'm glad you didn't jump. The world's better with you in it, even if you don't believe it yet." That night, lying on an unfamiliar sofa in a flat that smelled of washing powder and stale coffee, Jen cried silently for the first time in years, not from despair, but from something she couldn't quite name. Relief, perhaps, or the bizarre feeling that for the first time in her life, she was exactly where she needed to be. Morning arrived with Lily's piercing cry. Jen woke disoriented, her body aching from the hard sofa. Jamie had already left. On the kitchen table, a note read, "Bottle in the fridge, warm it in a bain-marie, nappy in the bathroom, back at midday, cheers." The handwriting was neat, childlike even, but there was care in every word. Jen looked at Lily in the improvised cot made from drawers. The baby cried, mouth wide open, fists clenched, face red. Jen had never held a baby in her life, never warmed a bottle or changed a nappy, but Lily was there, needing her, and there were no nannies or housekeepers to call. So she took a deep breath, picked up the child, and began to learn. The bottle took 20 minutes to warm because she didn't know the right temperature. The first nappy was lopsided. Lily spat up half the milk. But gradually, hour after hour, Jen began to understand the rhythm, the way to hold, to rock, to soothe, and something strange happened. Each time she managed to stop Lily's crying, each time she saw that toothless smile appear, something inside her warmed. It wasn't the artificial warmth of expensive jewels or empty compliments. It was something real, pulsing, alive. When Jamie returned at midday, he found Jen on the living room floor, Lily playing with a wooden spoon, both giggling at some private joke. He paused in the doorway, and Jen saw something flicker across his face. Surprise, relief, and perhaps a flicker of pain at seeing another woman caring for his daughter the way Sarah should have been. "She likes you," was all he said, but the weight of those words was immense. The next day at 7 in the morning, the door opened without warning. A woman swept in like a whirlwind, her hair pulled back in a tight bun, suspicious eyes scanning the small flat. She was a few years older than Jamie, with the same facial structure but harsher lines etched into her features. "So you're the lass my brother found on the rooftop," she said, without preamble. Genevieve, in Jamie's borrowed pajamas, hair disheveled, held Lily in her arms. "I'm Chloe, his sister, and before you ask, I reckon he's barking mad bringing a stranger home, but Jamie's always been like that. Heart bigger than his head, bless him." "I won't hurt him," Genevieve said, lifting her chin. "Nor Lily." Chloe studied her for a long moment. "Do you know how to look after a bairn?" Genevieve shook her head honestly. "At least you're honest," Chloe almost smiled. "Look, I work 8 till 6 as an HCA at the GP surgery. Jamie's doing double shifts on the building site because he can't afford nursery. If you really want to help, stay with Lily. I'll pop round every day. And the first sign you're mental or up to no good, I'll call the police and have you out of here quicker than a flash, understood?" "Understood," Genevieve said, and for the first time in a long time, she wanted to prove she could be trusted. Not out of social obligation or familial expectation, but because these people, these ordinary, genuine people, were giving her a chance when she had nothing left. The first few weeks were an intensive course in real life. Genevieve burnt the rice 3 times because she didn't know she needed to turn down the heat. She changed nappies inside out and had to redo them. She learned that baby clothes don't go in the washing machine with towels because they fade. She discovered that Lily loved British pop music, but detested rock, that she slept better when swayed in circular motions, that her hunger cry was different from her pain cry or her boredom cry. And gradually, day after day, Genevieve began to feel something she had never experienced. Purpose. Not the manufactured purpose of charity galas and magazine photo shoots, but the raw, essential purpose of being needed, of waking up in the morning and knowing someone depended on her, of her hands callousing with real work, her clothes stained with baby food, her hair always a bit of a mess because there was no time for salons. Jamie worked 12, sometimes 14 hours a day. He'd come home exhausted, smelling of cement and sweat, but always with a tired smile for Lily. He'd pay Jen when he could, small amounts in crumpled notes. "It's not much," he'd always apologize. Jen kept the money in a biscuit tin, not entirely sure why. She had credit cards hidden in the lining of the Chanel bag still under the sofa. She could buy the entire building if she wanted to, but that hard-earned money, those 50, 100 quid given with honest pride, meant more than any inheritance. At night, after Lily was asleep, they would talk. Sitting at the small kitchen table, sipping reheated coffee, Jamie would tell her about Sarah, how they'd met at school, how she laughed at everything, how excited she was about the pregnancy despite her fear, how everything went wrong so quickly in the delivery room, how he held Lily for the first time at the very moment he lost Sarah forever. "I wanted to die too," he admitted one night, eyes fixed on his mug, "every day for the first few months. But then I'd look at Lily and think, if I go, she's got no one, and Sarah wouldn't have wanted that. She'd have killed me if I abandoned our daughter." He gave a humorless laugh. "So I stay for her, always for her." Jen wanted to tell her story. She wanted to explain about her controlling father, about the fiancé she never loved, about the feeling of being a chess piece moved by invisible hands. But the words got stuck, because telling him would mean revealing who she really was, and she wasn't ready to see the way Jamie would look at her change. Not yet. In the 6th week, Jen cooked chicken stew with potatoes, carrots, and herbs she'd learned from watching videos on Chloe's borrowed phone. Jamie arrived, paused on the doorstep, and just inhaled. His eyes filled with tears. "Sarah used to make this," he said, his voice thick. "Exactly that smell. Garlic, rosemary, that hint of chili." He walked in slowly, sat at the table as if in a trance. I'd forgotten how much it hurt to remember. But now, it's good to remember too, you know. It's good not to have only the pain. They ate in respectful silence, Lily in her high chair banging on the tray, oblivious to the weight of the moment. Afterwards, Jamie switched on the radio. Some British pop filled the tiny flat. He held out a hand to Jen. "Dance with me." Sarah loved to dance. She said I had 2 left feet, but she loved me anyway. Jen took his hand. They danced in the tiny living room, spinning between the sofa and the table, laughing when they bumped into things, Lily clapping excitedly. And when the music ended, they were so close, Jen could count the flecks of gold in Jamie's brown eyes. He tilted his head. She closed her eyes. Their lips almost touched. The phone alarm shattered the moment. Lily's medicine, the antihistamine she took every day at 8 o'clock. Jamie pulled away, rubbing the back of his neck awkwardly. Jen went to fetch the medicine, her heart thumping so loudly she was sure he could hear it. It almost happened. Almost. But after that night, something shifted between them. Lingering glances that held for a second too long. Hands brushing as they both reached for Lily at the same time. Smiles that came more readily. Jen found herself tidying her hair before Jamie arrived home from work. Jamie started showering and changing before dinner. Chloe, with her sharp eye, would shake her head but say nothing. The local primary school's summer fete was Chloe's idea. "Lily needs to socialize, and you two need to get out of that flat before you go mad." She gave Jen a meaningful look. "Or before you do something stupid." The fete was in the primary school playground. Colorful bunting, sweet stalls, live music. Jen wore a simple, casual outfit Chloe lent her, a checked skirt and a button-up blouse. No professional makeup, no jewelry, nothing that marked her as an heiress to an empire, and she felt more beautiful than at any gala. Jamie looked awkward in his casual wear, a checked shirt pulled tight across his broad, working shoulders. But when he saw Jen, his face broke into such a genuine smile that her stomach fluttered. "You look beautiful," he said simply. Not, "You're presentable," or "That outfit is appropriate." Just, "You look beautiful," as if it were the most obvious truth in the world. They joined in the country dancing, stumbling over the steps, ate popcorn. Lily fell asleep in Jen's lap while the band played. It was perfect. Simple, cheap, ordinary, and absolutely perfect. That's when Tiffany appeared. She was obviously pretty, with straightened hair, heavy makeup, and clothes far too tight for a school fete. Jamie's ex-girlfriend Chloe had mentioned once. They'd broken up when he married Sarah. Tiffany looked at Jen with thinly veiled contempt. "So this is the new one," she said, loud enough to be heard. "The savior. Heard you were playing mum with his daughter. Must be nice, eh? Ready-made home, desperate man, kid who needs a mum. Landed yourself a good deal, didn't you?" Jen's blood rushed to her face, but before she could retort, Jamie was in front of her. "Tiffany, stop it. Jen isn't like that and you know it." "Oh really? And what is she then, Jamie? Because a woman doesn't just appear out of nowhere and move in with a man she barely knows without wanting something." "She wanted a home," Jamie said, his voice firm. "And I gave her one. She gave love to my daughter when she didn't have to. So show some respect or get out of my sight." Tiffany scoffed and stormed off. Jen was trembling. Jamie guided her to a quieter corner, Lily still sleeping soundly. "Sorry about that," he said. "Tiffany's always been complicated." "She isn't wrong," Genevieve whispered. "I just turned up out of nowhere. You took me in. Why did you do it, Jamie? Why bring me to your home?" He looked at her for a long moment. "Because when I saw you on that rooftop, I saw me. 6 months ago, 3 months ago, there are days I still see myself. That urge to end it all. And I thought, if someone had given me a reason to stay, something real to hold on to, maybe it wouldn't have been so hard. So I wanted to be that for you. A reason. And selfishly, you became a reason for me, too." Genevieve didn't think. She just pulled him in and kissed him. There, in the corner of the summer fete, with Lily sleeping between them, music drifting in the distance, bunting fluttering in the breeze. The kiss was desperate, true, full of everything she didn't know how to say. And Jamie kissed her back as if she were oxygen, and he was suffocating. When they broke apart, both were crying a little. "I love you," Genevieve said, and it was the first time she'd truly said it. "I love you and I love Lily, and I love this bizarre, small, perfect life." "I love you too," Jamie replied, touching her face as if she were something precious. "I love you, Jen." But guilt was already eating Genevieve from within. How could she build something real on a foundation of lies? He didn't even know her real name. He didn't know where she came from, who she truly was. And the longer time passed, the harder it became to tell. Days later, Jamie was watching the news on TV while Genevieve fed Lily her baby food. The report showed photos of the missing heiress, Genevieve Thorne Hawkins, with a reward of £15 million for anyone who knew her whereabouts. "That's mad," Jamie commented. 15 million quid for one person. Meanwhile, people are starving, working 3 jobs with nowhere to live. People like that don't live in the real world. They don't know what struggle is, what honest work is. Must be nice to live in a bubble of money, eh? Every word was a knife to Genevieve. She wanted to scream that it wasn't like that she hated that life, that was exactly why she ran away. But the words got stuck. Because how to explain? How to make Jamie understand that she was this person he clearly despised, but who had chosen to be there, with him, living this life? The truth exploded in the worst possible way 3 weeks later. Lily woke up in the middle of the night with a high fever, struggling to breathe, her lips tinged blue. Jamie rushed her to the public A&E, Genevieve right by his side. But the queue was enormous, the care slow, and Lily was worsening by the minute. Severe respiratory failure, a doctor finally said. She needed a pediatric ICU. There were no beds. Genevieve looked at Lily in Jamie's arms, that child she loved as her own, struggling for breath, and something shattered inside her. She picked up the mobile phone, which had been off for 3 months, switched it on and made a call. "The Portland Hospital? I need an ambulance with full pediatric ICU equipment. The address is..." She gave the NHS hospital's address. "Patient's name, Lily Clark. Yes, it's urgent. No, it can't wait. Yes, I authorize it. Put it on my account. Genevieve Thorne Hawkins." Jamie stared at her as if she'd grown a second head. "What have you just done?" "Genevieve Thorne Hawkins. Jen, what the bloody hell was that?" The ambulance arrived in 12 minutes. No ordinary ambulance, but a state-of-the-art mobile ICU. The paramedics treated Jamie and Genevieve like royalty. At the hospital, the best private room was prepared. A full team of specialists. The receptionist addressed Genevieve as Miss Thorne Hawkins and asked if clothes should be sent from the Kensington mansion. That was when Jamie truly understood. He looked at Genevieve, then the doctors treating Lily with reverence, then the room costing more per day than he earned in a month. "You're the heiress, the woman from the TV. 6 weeks of lies." "My feelings weren't a lie," Genevieve pleaded, tears streaming. Jamie, please, The door opened. Arthur Thorne Hawkins entered with an emperor's presence, security guards behind him. Piers Ainsworth Clarke followed, perfect suit, a serpent's smile. He placed a possessive hand on Genevieve's back. Darling, you gave us quite a fright. Thank God we found you. Jamie looked at Piers's hand, then at Genevieve. Something died in his eyes. I get it. Thank you for saving her. He spoke of Lily, but his voice was dead. But once she's well, don't come back. Jamie, wait. But he was already entering the room where Lily received oxygen, closing the door behind him, shutting Genevieve out. Arthur grabbed her arm. Come on, you've caused enough damage already. 5 days later, Lily was discharged. The bill paid, courtesy of the Thorne Hawkins family, the receipt read. Jamie later learned from Chloe that Genevieve had deposited $150,000 into an account in Lily's name for education, health, future. Blood money, he thought bitterly. The price for 3 months of slumming it. Genevieve returned to the Kensington mansion a prisoner. Her father locked her in, hired security, took her mobile. You will have therapy, you will behave, and you will marry Piers in 3 months. This circus is over. 2 months dragged by. Daily therapy with a private psychiatrist, wedding dress fittings, invitations printed, and Genevieve emptied out more each day. It was at a family dinner that everything finally shattered. Piers Ainsworth Clarke, sipping an expensive claret, remarked carelessly, Good that builder learned his lesson. Nearly fell from the 8th floor the other day, I heard. Be a real shame if something happened to him before the wedding, wouldn't it, darling? With his little girl so small. The room fell silent. Genevieve looked at Piers as if seeing him for the very first time. It was you. You tried to hurt Jamie. Piers shrugged. I merely made it clear that certain relationships have consequences. He got the message. Genevieve rose calm. She went to her room, retrieved the hidden mobile phone she'd recovered days before, and recorded a 3-minute video. Her face bare, her voice steady. My name is Genevieve Thorne Hawkins. I am heiress to a fortune I do not want. I am engaged to a man I do not love. I was raised in a gilded cage and they called it privilege. But privilege isn't having money. It's having choice. So I choose. There will be no wedding. There will be no dutiful heiress. I choose authenticity over convenience. I choose love over money. I choose to truly live. She posted it across every social media platform she had. 2 million people watched in the first 12 hours. The headline was on every news portal by dawn. Arthur expelled her the next day, a single suitcase of clothes, no money, no cards. You wanted to be common? Now you are. Don't come back until you apologize. Genevieve rented a tiny room in a bedsit in Peckham. She enrolled at Southwark College for a catering course. She started volunteering at a local church's community kitchen. She learned to chop onions without crying, to season fish, to make good food with little money, to serve with dignity. Her hands developed real calluses. Her nails grew short and polish-free. Her hair, without expensive treatments, returned to the natural curls she had always straightened. And every day, every cursed night, she thought of Jamie and Lily. She wondered if Lily still remembered her, if Jamie had forgiven her, if she had destroyed the only real thing she had ever known. Jamie was shattered. He worked mechanically, almost falling from the 8th floor twice due to distraction. Lily cried every night, whimpering mummy in a tearful voice. Nothing consoled her. Not Chloe, not new toys, nothing. Chloe finally yelled at him. Your idiotic pride is going to kill you and leave Lily an orphan. She loves that woman. You love that woman. She might have lied about her name, but everything else was real. I saw it. I was there every day. She's a billionaire, Chloe. A billionaire. Engaged to another bloke. What future do I have with someone like that? The future you build together. Do you really think love cares about money? Sarah loved you when you had nothing. She chose you every single day. This girl chose you when she could have had everything. And you're going to throw that away because of pride? That night, Jamie found a photograph that had slipped behind the sofa. Genevieve and Lily, morning sun illuminating both. Lily laughing. Genevieve looking at her with a love so obvious it ached to witness. On the back, in careful script, the day I understood what family truly is. Love you both forever. G. Jamie held the photograph for an hour. Then he grabbed his car keys and drove to Kensington. The Thorne Hawkins mansion gleamed like a luxury liner, fully lit, immaculate gardens, iron gate bearing the family crest. Security guards tried to stop him. An older woman, elegant but with kind eyes, came to the gate. "Are you Jamie?" she asked. He nodded. "I'm Eleanor, Genevieve's stepmother. She talks about you and Lily every day. Come in, please." He found Genevieve in the back garden, sitting on a stone bench, looking at a photo of Lily on her phone, crying silently. She looked different. Thinner, curly hair, simple clothes, but still her. Still the woman he loved. "Lily asks about you every day," Jamie said. Genevieve jumped, turning around. Her eyes widened. "Jamie, but I didn't come to talk about Lily," he continued, stepping closer. "I came to ask about you. Did you lie about loving me?" His voice broke on the last word. "Never," she whispered, tears flowing freely. "Never, never, never. About loving Lily? Never. She is my daughter. It doesn't matter who gave birth. She is mine." He took her hands, turning them to see her palms. There were small calluses, knife cuts, stove burns. "You truly left everything behind." "I left what wasn't mine. My life is here." She pointed to her heart. "With you and with Lily. I don't need a mansion. I don't need money. I just need you." Piers chose that moment to appear, arrogant as ever. How touching. A cheap soap opera romance. Jamie didn't back down. He looked Piers in the eyes. "Love doesn't pay the bills," Piers provoked. "How will you give her what she deserves?" "She doesn't need it," Jamie replied calmly. "I've always paid my bills, with honest work, dignity, love. She deserves that, not dirty money and lies." "No one chooses poverty when they can have luxury," Piers laughed. "I'm not choosing poverty," Genevieve interrupted, her voice firm. "I'm choosing freedom. I'm choosing to be myself. I'm choosing real love over convenience. I'm choosing him." Arthur Thorne Hawkins appeared on the veranda. He studied Jamie at length. The construction worker, calloused hands, simple but clean clothes, proud stance. "Can you support my daughter?" Jamie chose brutal honesty. "Not in the way she grew up. I'll never be able to give her a mansion, luxury cars, trips to Europe. But with honest work, a safe roof over her head, food on the table every day, real love, that I can do, that I promise." Something changed in Arthur's face. He looked at Eleanor, who nodded. "Helena, my wife, Genevieve's mother," Arthur said, voice rough. "She hated this life. The money, pretenses, games. She wanted simplicity, love, a real family. I failed her. I won't make that mistake twice." He held out his hand. "Welcome to the family, the real one." Chloe arrived minutes later with Lily. Lily saw Genevieve and shrieked, "Mummy!" Arms outstretched, she leaned precariously. Genevieve ran, scooped her up, holding her as if Lily were oxygen. Lily clutched Genevieve's hair, buried her face in her neck and wept, 3 months of longing pouring out. "We're going home," Jamie said, embracing them. "For real now. No more lies." "To our home," Genevieve corrected. "Me, you, and Lily." A year later, Jamie took Genevieve back to the completed Canary Wharf building, buzzing with families. They climbed the stairs, Lily in Jamie's arms, to the top. London stretched out under a clear spring sky, air clean after rain. "It's been a year today," Jamie said. "A year since you didn't jump." Genevieve looked at the city, no longer indifferent. It was alive, beautiful, full of possibilities. "I'm full now," she said, "with love, purpose, life. So full, I could burst." "I've got 2 things," she breathed. "Father wants Sunday dinner, official with family. He's offering a stake in his property firm to start your business. Chloe joins HR and..." She placed his hand on her belly where a small curve showed, "I'm pregnant, 8 weeks." Jamie froze, processing. Then a huge, radiant smile broke across his face. He kissed her, desperate with happiness, spinning her in the air. Lily shrieked, "Again!" All 3 laughed atop the building that almost marked their end. Then Jamie knelt. He took a small box from his pocket. "I saved for 6 months, worked extra shifts. It's nothing fancy, but it's honest. Like everything I have to give you." He opened it. A simple silver ring with a blue stone. "Genevieve Thorne Hawkins, will you marry me? For real, no arrangement, no pretenses. Just love. Just us." "Yes," she sobbed. "Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes." He put on the ring. A long kiss. Lily patting his back, demanding attention. The sun was rising over London, pink and orange painting the sky, illuminating the entire city. Lily would wake hungry. Chloe would call, complaining. Arthur would message business. The day would begin with its beautiful, chaotic mess. But for now it was just the three of them. The city stirring below, an immense future unfurling ahead. A future chosen, not inherited. Built, not given. Real, not performed. "Thank you for not jumping," Jamie whispered against her hair. "Thank you for giving me a reason to stay," Genevieve replied. "Thank you for teaching me what true love is." Lily began to hum a tune Genevieve often sang to her. The three of them stood there as the city came alive. And when they finally descended, it wasn't to escape. It was to live, hand in hand, heart with heart, as a family. If this story moved you as much as it did me, click the video appearing on your screen now to discover another tale that will stir your heart. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel here so you don't miss the next incredible stories I've brought for you.